Well, at least it's not Korra versus Rey. So I think we should just get the obvious out of the way. I'm pretty sure Storm's gonna win. And I'm okay with that. Storm is one of my favorite X-Men. I have no connection with Korra. Hell, I didn't even have a connection with Avatar. But it's pretty cut and dry here. Storm's gonna win this. I'm a little sad that they didn't go for another one of Korra's matchups. Not Korra versus Rey, because I don't like Rey at all. I don't like her. Such a boring character. I just don't like her. She's annoying. And can't remember the other one, but it's from the Infamous series. It was like Infamous Second Son. It was the playable character from Infamous Second Son. I think that would have been a better matchup, but this is fine. I'm completely neutral. Just Anyway, so yeah, without going into any specific details, Storm wins. She once created the storm the size of a planet, so that's nice. Korra's basically got nothing to defeat her. She can redirect the lightning, though, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. Again, I have never seen an episode of Korra. Or, I've seen a few episodes of Avatar, and I know that Aang can redirect lightning, but I don't know if Korra can. I'm pretty sure she can. But, Death Battle might just pull the BS. Well, if Aang can do it, then so can Korra. But yeah. That's it. I guess I should move on to my review for Akuma versus Shao Kahn. So I'm going to do that now. This episode, the stars were aligned. It was a legacy match. It had one of my favorite Street Fighter characters in it. It was animated by the same guy who did Ganondorf versus Dracula and Link versus Cloud. So, how was it? Starting off with the analysis, there were a few... when they announced... So, you know how when they do all those things in... Like when they're starting off with a character, they kind of pause to give a little bit of impact on their name. So, like, this was so-and-so. This was so-and-so. The so-and-so. This was... Insert character name. Pause, then talk about his feats. They didn't do that here. They kind of just like, this was Akuma. He did all of this and this and this. This was Shao Kahn. He did this and this and this. It was just kind of rushed. Although I did like the two. I did like two of the jokes. I liked the Wiz and Boomstick moment where Boomstick wanted to grease himself up to launch and see if he could blow up a meteor with his face or something like that. And it was a really nice moment between the characters, and I love it. And the joke about Shao Kahn just talking to Wiz and Boomstick, or specifically Boomstick after Boomstick's terrible pun, that was also pretty funny. Other than that, the analysis was fine. Got the basics of the character down. Didn't really understand why they talked about Japanese folklore when discussing Oni, but hell, I am all for Japanese folklore. I love it, so that is definitely a positive for me. Now onto the fight animation. Now I must say, okay, no beating around the bush here. The backgrounds aren't nice. They're very bland. It's all like it's like a the whole fight takes place in a desert, and that kind of makes me really sad because both Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter have really good backgrounds for their stages. Why couldn't this, like, take place in, like, the Outworld arena? But no, it just had to take place in some generic desert. That's a little disappointing. As for the fighting, it's fine for the most part. I'd give it was some bits were entertaining. But other than that, it was just basic. If I had to rate it on a scale from the episode so far, I'd probably say it's below... How do I say this nicely? How do I put this? It's above Doom versus Lex. That's it. It's better than Doom versus Lex. And Blake versus Mikasa, I guess, but that's no one talks about. No one likes that episode. Just ignore it. Although I must admit here, the track was pretty good. It definitely fit the whole evil characters. Also, I read that Shao Kahn sounded nothing like he does in Mortal Kombat 11. Like, when they get to his ending clip, you can hear he kind of has this deep growl, and he kind of sounds kind of like monstrous or something, like he's intimidating. But then when you get to the fight, he just sounds like an angry man. That's the best I can say. He's just an angry man. Akuma, though... Akuma's fine, I guess. He's not the worst, but not the best either. So... Yeah, and, I mean, they did use the movesets for the characters pretty well. Especially for Shao Kahn. Mostly for Shao Kahn, since Akuma just does, like, Hadouken, Shoryukens, Tatsumaki, Senpukyaku. But yeah, it's harmless. Oni's transformation was... Now, keep in mind what I said. This fight was animated by the same guy who did Ganon versus Dracula and Link versus Cloud 2. 2 episodes which had phenomenal transformation sequences. The transformations between Ganon and Fierce Deity Link are legit some of the best in the series. But for Oni, it's just... Akuma says a couple lines and... Hey, Oni's out now. And the death was also a bit weak. And actually, you know what? Now that I think about it, when Oni lands a hit, he lands them very fast. But they don't like impact. The sound design isn't really that good. It just feels like he's just patting Shao Kahn. But it lacks no impact. And the death was just boring. Oni gets his arm ripped off, gets knocked back, and then Shao Kahn just crushes his head with his hammer. And then for some reason he says flawless victory, even though Shao Kahn has like a giant hole in his chest. He should have said something like fatality. You know, the most iconic line from Mortal Kombat. But no, just flawless victory, which makes no sense whatsoever. So yeah, that was... Oh, and the conclusion's fine, I guess. Kind of disappointing. Again, I think that just might have been my high hopes for this, since it was animated by Dai Tomodachi, who, again, animated Ganon vs. Drac and Link vs. Cloud 2, which are 2 really well-animated fights. But here, I don't know. I feel like he wasn't really best suited for... Don't get me wrong, he's a great animator, and his work on Death Battle is amazing, but here, he was just... didn't really feel it this time. I feel like they should have given this to the same team who did Ryu vs. Jin or Goro vs. Machamp. But it's alright. It's ultimately harmless. It's a flat 5 out of 10. That's it. aside from the next time, there's nothing really interesting going on. Although we are getting close to Madara versus Aizen, which I'm gonna give I almost said who I thought would win. But I'm gonna wait until after Korra versus Storm to see if that's the next episode. And we're getting close to the finale, which is probably going to be Galactus, which is most likely going to be Galactus versus Unicron. And if it's not, then I have no idea. If I were to choose an episode to be the finale that wasn't Galactus versus Unicron, that was a legacy match, probably Samus versus Master Chief, especially since Dread just came out. And I'm really loving Dread. It's a great game. I love Metro Dread. Or, personally, I would have Zero versus Meta Knight, or Meta Knight versus Zero, depends. Mostly because I like Kirby characters in Death Battle, especially since they haven't gotten a loss, and I don't think that Meta Knight loses here either, so I think it's just going to be a flat 3-streak win for Kirby. Unless Bandana D gets in and loses, then... Other than that, it was a fine episode. Don't know why I was rambling on for that last bit, but other than that, 5 out of 10, it's fine. Thank you all so much for watching. I'm going to have a bath.